Welcome to Free Soul Awakening, the podcast that invites you to liberate yourself from conditioning, fear, and self-doubt. And remember that your soul was never meant to be caged. It was meant to be free. All right. Hey guys, my name is Ashley and I'm your host of Free Soul Awakening podcast. I am an evidential medium and I've been on my healing journey for about 4 years now. So today we are going to talk about what to expect from a mediumship reading. And today my guest host is also an evidential medium, Gabby.
Hi.
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And we met on TikTok and where I meet everyone. Hey,
Oh,
TikTok. Shout out TikTok. Um, but yeah, I thought your content was so funny because you were talking, I think I liked the one where you were talking about like what a mediumship reading was. And like because you were talking about something about a lobster and I was cracking up and I was like, "Yup.
like what people think a mediumship reading is versus what it
Yes."
is. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know about you, but some days I do get like sentences from spirit, but I tell my clients like I'm pretty much like putting a puzzle together.
Right.
So in that TikTok, I was like, these are the three pieces of the puzzle. And then, the reader was like, here, let me help you piece that puzzle together. And it made sense for the reader or
Right.
sitter, excuse
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I think it's our job as mediums to interpret the messages that your loved ones are showing us. And sometimes, we can interpret it wrong or we're just seeing something and it's like, okay, this is what your loved one is showing us. But I just want to say, to start, make sure if you're going into a mediumship reading, make sure you know the difference between a mediumship reading and a psychic reading,
Yes.
because they are different. So if you are looking more for a psychic reading, which is more going into your energy, kind of seeing what's coming up for you or what you're going through, or anything that might help you heal or anything like that, that's more of a psychic reading. And a mediumship reading is more of we're connecting to your past loved ones. So we're bringing through healing messages, um, so you know that your loved ones are still with you. So that's the difference. So just make sure because they say, not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychics or something like that. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, everybody's everything, right? We're all psychic
Right.
mediums.
Right. Exactly.
So I think, but a lot of times, it's just if you're going to a mediumship reading, they may not be prepared for a psychic reading or, some psychics don't tap into their mediumship. So they might actually not be able to do a mediumship reading. So just make sure you know the difference.
Absolutely. And I always will tell my clients too, like if they come for a psychic reading that like I don't know about for you, but I sometimes I can't control if my mediumship will kick in. So
Yeah.
sometimes during a psychic reading, I'm like, I have someone here, but I'll ask them if they're ready for it and if they want, the spirit to come into their vibration and give a message. And most of the time they are receptive and want it. But yes, absolutely. And then I've had the opposite. I've had people come for a psychic reading and they're disappointed that someone didn't go through for them. And I'm like, well, you did book a psychic reading. If you want a mediumship reading, we can definitely work something out and book you a mediumship reading.
So I feel like sometimes because I only do mediumship readings, that psychic information will come through. I feel like, if I'm connecting to your guides or your loved ones, like if you want to hear something, that they will bring that psychic information through. But yeah, and all mediums are different. We're all different. So I always like to ask if I have a client, have you ever been to a medium? Because it's important for them to know if they went to a medium, I might work different than
Yes.
the medium. So if they have certain expectations from this previous reading, it's like, okay, we all work differently.
Yes, I agree. I always take a couple minutes just to explain them how I work and that it's okay for them to say yes, no, or I don't know when I'm pulling like information for them. But yeah, absolutely. Just everyone's going to work a little differently. Will tell them we're gonna like put this little puzzle together, and then sometimes like I do get full sentences coming through.
Right.
Some days, depending upon the person. I remember I was doing one reading and I was getting some hits on this gentleman, and it was like one of my first few like professional mediumship readings, and I kind of froze And I was like, I'm so sorry, but I don't want to make anything up to you, but I feel like I'm not getting anything. And it's probably not you, it's me. And he said, if I can be honest with you, I actually have a shield up in my energy.
Yeah.
So I was like sitting there internally thinking, like, oh my gosh, like I'm so defeated, like this went
Yeah.
poorly happen. And in reality, he was like, I wasn't really ready. It was like a duality. He was like, I wanted to talk to my mom, but energetically, I like clammed up and I wasn't ready to talk to my mom. So I found that was like very interesting when people are like, oh, you're a medium, you're always supposed to get it right. I
Yeah.
expectation too when you go in for a mediumship reading is be open in that
Yeah.
we're human. We're not always going to get it right. And sometimes you pick up on other spirits that I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I have if I know I have like say 3 clients for the day, sometimes the first client in the morning of spirits that are coming in for the person in the afternoon.
Mhm.
So when I'm getting hits for them, they're like, it's not resonating. And then I find out they're like, oh no, I'm here for the person you're seeing later. I'm like, oh, you got to come back. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
here, yeah,
Yeah.
you're crashing the
Yeah.
wrong. Got to crash the party later.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think
there's
it's
so much
really
into it.
yeah, and we do feed off of, you know, the energy of our client. So, one of my mentors like spirit is always there. Spirit is always there. So it's never spirit's fault. We're never like, oh, your dad didn't come. No, no, no. It's like as a medium, we do take time prior to a reading. I don't know about you, but I sage, I say a prayer, I set intentions. And I mean, that could take 5 seconds, sometimes 5 minutes. Like, I like to sit in the power and do meditation, and I prepare my energy to be able to read, to be able to connect to loved ones. But yeah, I think we do feed off of our sitter's energy too. So if you have someone that's super closed off, that can kind of shut us down. And if I've read for someone before who was very just stoic and just sat there like didn't really give any confirmation. Yes, no, there was just like I was like, "Oh God, that's," but
That's
you start
terrifying.
to, yeah, yeah, it is, and you
That's
start to shut
terrifying.
down. So if you ever go into a mediumship reading, make sure if you're medium, and don't be afraid to say no. A lot of mediums should have developed, or continue to develop. I continue to do development circles. I host the development circle, and I think it's really, really important to continue development. So it's okay to say, you know what, that's not really resonated.
Yes.
Resonating. That's okay. Or if it is, say, yes, 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 I can take that. I can take that because then that raises our vibrations. And so, okay, great, let's keep going, and it helps us to connect. But a lot of times when I first started, I would get a lot of no's. And you have to figure out how to work through them. You have to figure out, okay, am I interpreting something wrong? Oh, let's go back to that and see if we can make that fit. Or sometimes it's like a no, you move on.
Yes.
Because sometimes, a lot of times, if you guys have done a mediumship reading, you get amnesia. It's called sitter amnesia. You could forget.
I just learned about that a couple of days ago, and then it hit me during a reading, and I was like, "Oh no, this is what my coworker was talking about."
Yep. Amnesia.
Sometimes it's a lesson too for like us as mediums in our development because spirit sometimes just shows us things just to see if we get the message. Since
Yeah.
they're in our memory bank, giving us these signs. So like there was one day I was doing a reading and it was a bunch of no's, but I had to like sit in it and be like, I'm better off saying like I remember there was one medium I'm friends with and she was like, just say everything because you literally never know. And it can also make sense later. Like I tell my clients, if you
Yeah.
down, if you want to record it, it's okay if it doesn't make sense now. And then they go home and they call their grandma, their mom, and they're like, oh, actually, yeah, like we did have that as a kid, or, this was here when you were little, and it makes sense later. And then I'll get texts and be like, so remember that time I said it didn't make sense? Yeah, I talked to so and so, and now it makes sense.
And a lot of times too, before we go, well, I set intentions. So I set intentions, I'm sure you do too, to receive healing messages. And I feel like a lot of people go into mediumship readings maybe nervous or afraid that we're going to tell them something bad. Or, my aunt is notorious. She loves mediumship readings, but she always is afraid that someone's going to tell her when she's going to die.
Oh no.
And I'm like, no.
My favorite's always like, well, I want the Powerball numbers. I'm like, don't you think if mediums knew the Powerball numbers, we'd be sharing
Yeah.
this? We would, there'd
Yeah.
be couldn't tell you, but there would be
Yeah.
signs. There'd be like
Yeah.
an for mediums.
Right. And let's talk about that for a minute too. Let's talk about how people always say, oh, well, psychics, why don't they just use their gifts to get the power numbers? Guess what? Guess how we get our information. So we receive our information psychically from your spirit guides and from our spirit guides. I don't just like know it. Like
Right,
we work as a team. We're a
right.
team. It's not just us. Even as the medium, like I'm working, with my gatekeeper guide who helps spirits come to like I'm working with your guides. I'm working with the energy of your past loved ones, of my people. It's not just, oh, I'm great and it's just me. No, I got a whole team of people over here helping me. So no, I can't just go and be like, I want the Powerball numbers. Like it doesn't work like that. The
No,
universe doesn't allow that.
no. I tell people, I'm like, eh, we can't, it's like we have a responsibility with like our gifts. We can't, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
there's good bad in the spiritual, unfortunately, like there is in the physical, but like I don't want to tap into any, like my personal choice. I don't feel
Mm,
like tapping into any of that. Oh, like, no, no,
mm.
no.
Yeah, I
But I don't
don't.
want the karma of like if you tap into that stuff.
That's another episode. I want to
Yeah.
do karma because it's holy moly. Oh, all right. Okay, and then another thing I wanted to talk about is if you're coming into a mediumship reading, be open-minded to other spirits coming in because a lot of times, obviously, we all have lost people that we love. Some have lost a lot more people than others, but if you're coming in just looking to talk to your mom, other spirits may come in and you may not even know them. You may not even recognize them because you're not thinking about them. So it could be your high school friend and you're just like, no, 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 I just want to talk to my mom. So it's important because they may have something important they want to say or a healing message that you may want to hear. And it's really important to keep yourself open to other possibilities than just that one person that you want to hear from. And that's beautiful that you want to hear from that person. But also, we can't guarantee who's going to come through. So,
Absolutely. And that's another good key point too, because sometimes when people come in the reading, they want to talk to mom, and like we'll go off the example of like a high school friend comes through. Sometimes that high school friend comes through because they know you still talk to their mom or like their
right.
sister. I have a message for them that they want you to give them, and to know that they're okay.
Yeah, exactly. So just be open-minded.
And also too, like if souls, like it depends on the strength of the spirit. Like I have people who come and be like at the end of the session, oh, well, you didn't pick up my friend, and I'll ask, well, may I ask how long ago did they pass? And they'll say last week. And then you have to explain the concept of time over there and how like some spirits, depending upon how strong they are, might come through like that, but
Yeah.
some spirits need time
Time.
time over there. But they, to them, they don't even realize they've passed on yet.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've had spirits where they've come through when they died hours later.
Mhm.
Like not even during a reading, just I had a friend who lost her uncle and immediate hours later came through and I was like, "What in the world?" So it definitely
Yeah,
depends on the spirit. Guys, we don't know. We're just everything's
we're
in the hands of
we're
yeah, we're
figuring it
human.
out as we go.
Yeah. We are human. We are, me and Gabby were talking earlier, we're not just light and love. Like we would love everyone to be like that, and I would love to be light and love, but we're human and we are supposed to experience human emotions and have human experiences, even though we are spiritual beings. We're supposed to experience anger and sadness and joy and all these things. It's not just everything's great and we connect to spirit. And it's like, no, 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 we do try to be better versions of ourselves. We I know I'm healing, I'm sure you're healing, I'm in therapy, I got
Yep.
I got all of it.
Yeah. All of it.
And I still struggle.
I gotta text my therapist back.
Yeah,
Schedule next.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I struggle. I think just working on myself and trying to heal does make me a better medium because I am trying to be the best vessel for spirit and able to connect.
No, absolutely. And that's why, like, even with my TikToks, I try to make them lighthearted just to show people, like, we can make jokes, we can be funny.
Yeah.
I don't, it may not be your cup of tea, but like if you want to have the glass of wine, like if that feels right to you, I get some mediums, it doesn't feel right for their body, and that's totally
Yeah,
fine. Like, called to, but just because we're these spiritual beings, like you said, it doesn't mean we can't go to the concerts if we don't want to go to the concerts. It doesn't mean you can't go out dancing and have a good time and shake
exactly.
butt if that feels like great to you. Like we
Yep.
are allowed to have these things because sometimes I feel like people look at me and they're like, you're supposed to be this spiritual being just at home, like all day.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
I actually have the worst discipline when it comes to meditating as a
Yeah.
medium. So,
Wow.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
like it happens.
Yeah.
Like you, like I take the time, I set my intentions, I open
Yep.
space, like save space and all the things. But like every day meditating, it doesn't always happen because
Yeah.
like everyone else, life gets
Life.
busy. It happens. Oh,
Nope. You're good. You're good. I'll leave that in. We cuss here. See, mediums cuss. Look.
exactly. I know I had a client a couple of days ago, and I try, like, if I know certain clients or if they've come to me and they've learned to know me and I know them more and I'm more comfortable, like I might cuss in front of them. But this was like the first time meeting this girl, and I literally dropped the F bomb and I said, oh my God, I am so sorry. But she started laughing because she goes, I know why you cussed, because my mother always
Yeah.
cussed. She loved the F bomb, and then more, just that validation alone was like giving me more hits on to like
Yep.
pull through and confirm and validate her mom was on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. I mean, spirit works in a lot of different ways, and us as mediums just have to figure out the best way that we can communicate that to you, to our sitter. So in terms of me, like I'm like you, like I see a lot. I'm very clairvoyant, so I see a ton of stuff. And they'll use things that we know, that we're familiar with, to connect with you. Like, for instance, I was giving a reading the other day, and Spirit drew me to the keyboard, and it drew me to the letters L-I. And I was confused at first. I was like, Li? I was like, what is that? But so I'm an ultrasound tech. And when I type LI, immediately liver comes up. And then I hit set and I said, hmm. So I asked my sitter, did they pass from something in the liver or did they have a liver issue? And they passed from the liver. So it's interesting how they just give you things that I was familiar with. I'm very familiar with the liver, with LI, with so I was like, okay. Or like flowers. If I see flowers, I know that could be a mother figure because that's kind of my symbol for mother. So it's just different things. I do hear as well,
Yeah.
but it's just depends on how connected I am. But I see a lot of numbers, things.
That's what I tell people too. What I learned from my mentor that I work with now, shout out to Soul Purpose. But my
Hey.
mentor I work with now, she says like everyone has like two strong, like stronger of the clear senses,
Yeah.
but like you can work all of them, strengthen them, just like figuring that out and like your intention. I get it. Not everyone wants their like heart to be squeezed and be like, oh, did they have
Right.
like a heart attack? And
Yeah.
also talking about your signs, I think that's too to remind people before they go to a medium. What the being open is, what one medium has for a symbol is not going to mean the same thing
Right.
to another medium. And if you're on this journey of becoming a medium, try to sit with your sim and like we're going to be learning new symbols as we
All
keep
the time.
and as minions, mediums, if you want to be a
I like
minion.
minions. We should just change it.
Right? I know sometimes I go, what?
Like, I'm an evidential minion. Uh,
As you develop and you hear people, will you don't want to automatically be like, oh, well, Ashley sees a rose as a motherly figure. Well, that's going to be my symbol. If it's not
right.
going to make sense, it's going to clash. And spirit's going to keep hitting you with that rose until you really figure it out what that means to you, not another medium.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so important, if you are a developing medium, just to keep going. Just keep going. Just keep pushing through. Get yourself a mentor, read books,
It's
there's a
important.
thousand development circles out there.
Yes.
A
But
thousand.
I know I just started teaching them here at Soul Purpose once a month, and I was like so nervous in the beginning, but now it's like nice to like help other
Yeah.
like mediums because
Yeah.
they're like crazy how many more people are waking up uh,
Yes.
during this big shift lately with everything going on in the world.
Yep.
But it's
Yep.
also kind of like internally you're like, oh, welcome to the dark. So
Right? Exactly.
come, come.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there was a medium on YouTube or something that said there was going to be like a mass awakening in 2025, and I was like, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I had my awakening in 2022, but yeah, I think 2025 a lot of people are waking up.
Like I'm 31, so three. Oh yeah, so I was around like 2022. Oh, how weird. Well, not weird, but like coincidence. Like,
Oh, we're
like
twins.
yeah, because I was like 20, about like 28. Yeah, when everything just kind of
Yeah, I
it's
was
like
32, I guess.
yeah, my spirit guides were like, "Hi, we're back," and I'm like, "What?" I think that's the thing too with like being on this mediumship journey is where no matter how many readings we do on this path, there are those moments where I'm like, "Did that really just happen? Did
Yeah.
I really just do that?" So I totally understand that. I feel like for me, it was just it was kind of weird stuff. So I had to like call out for like my mental health, and then clairaudiently, one of my guides came through, and like you, I was like
Mhm.
auditory hallucinations. And
Yeah.
great, I'm like, what? So
Mhm.
I like fed into it, and I was like, okay, I'll feed into this, and I'm like, okay, if you're really my spirit guide, like I want to see 1111, whether it's on a time, on the bus, like a bus number or the total of something. So I went out and, I ran all my errands. Nothing came out to 1111. No license plates of like 1111. And then I um was doing like a tentative, I want to like backpack through Europe at some point in my life. So
Nice.
I was trying to like decide between, because once you get to Europe, I hear it's like cheaper in Europe to like travel country to country. So funny enough, I picked like, I don't know if it was like Paris to Belgium or it was like Belgium to Amsterdam. And the train ticket was literally freaking $11.11.
Oh, yep.
I was like, oh, whoop, there it is.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
that, yeah, I was just
Yep.
like, all right, we're in the
We're
thick
doing
of it.
it. We're doing it. I love
Yeah.
it. Connect
So
to your guides, though.
yeah, absolutely. But I was
All
like,
right. All right, guys. So this is the segment where we're gonna pull a card, and Gabby is gonna pull today for us.
you guys can follow me on TikTok, Energy Healing with Gabby. And today I'm pulling out of the Soul Whispers.
Oh.
And actually, I wanted to add this in too for you guys. If you're like, what the heck's the difference between tarot and oracle? And Ashley can obviously jump in on this too. I feel like with tarot, there's more structure to tarot. So
Mhm.
once you learn the white wider deck, which is like the um I'd say like the overall like beginner deck, you can read any deck. And then Oracle, I feel like Oracle's a little bit more fluid, a little bit more positive, and like every Oracle deck is like so different. Some Oracle decks have a theme, and
Yeah.
it's a little bit. I don't want to say like tarot isn't more open on interpretation, but I feel like there's a little bit more like fluidity with Oracle.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Tarot is very structured because it's always the same card. It's
The
like they may have different images, so you can interpret tarot however you'd like, but there is like a set structure to it. So it just
right.
depends. But yeah, I love a good oracle card.
All right, this one came flying out for you, so we're gonna do this one.
Okay.
And that's the other thing too is like Oracle decks might have like sayings on them. So like this one is there's no oh, we were just talking about this. There's no beginning or end of growth. You're forever expanding. So funny enough, we are just
There you
talking
go.
about growing
Yeah.
mediumship journeys and
I love
spiritual journeys.
that.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm doing like shaman. I'm in my like shaman training right
Oh,
now.
nice.
Yeah, so it's intense, but
Yeah.
one of my mentors, it's like Incan shamanism, and it's like
Ooh.
very interesting and it's very cool. Like that could be like a whole episode on the medicine wheel, but it's definitely like helpful on the healing journey.
Yeah.
So
Nice. All
yeah.
right. Well, do you want to tell people where they can find you and all the...
Yeah, so my TikTok is Energy Healing with Gabby, and I'm on Facebook, Energy Healing with Gabby. I know some people are probably like, this girl's on Facebook still. You'd be surprised how many people still use Facebook.
Uh, a lot.
My Square Reiki with Gabby Square site, and yeah, if you ever want to
Cool.
reading or shamanic healing, card pulls, development circles, mentoring. I do it all.
All right, guys. Well, that's the end of our episode. Gabby, thank you again for coming on the pod. Yay.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful and love to do this
Yeah.
again. I'll see you
Yes.
next time.
Yes. And so I'm on Instagram and TikTok, freesoul_ash. My website's coming soon. So if
Yeah.
you guys want to book with me currently, just message me on TikTok or Instagram. But if you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, all the things. All
All the
right.
I'm so excited for you and congratulations on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
girl. Till
All right,
next.
guys. Bye.